As we all know, this is Healthy Living Global, and this is a platform for your health promotion, disease prevention. It's a platform where the healthcare providers and healthcare consumers come to learn, right, so that their health can be improved. So we work in synergy with everyone. We welcome your own contribution, right? And we look forward to work with you guys to see that we live healthy. That is our goal. To take healthy living to a global scale. That is our goal. So once you see this live streaming video, do well to share this video at once to your friends, your loved ones, your relations. Tell them that this something is happening here and then it's part of it. All right, so that it will serve as a health promotion strategy for them. So today we're discussing about atopic dermatitis. All right, yesterday we discussed about that of acne vulgaris, which shows in the form of pimples and even dark spots. But today we'll be talking about atopic dermatitis. All those things are skin conditions. Just like I told you guys yesterday in my live streaming yesterday, I said the skin conditions that you may mistake it with another that skin condition. That's why we're just explaining so that we know what it is all about. All right, you may think is this one, not knowing that is the other one. So we explained about that of acne vulgaris, which can show in the form of pimples and blackheads. All right, so it's something that will actually make someone to lack confidence because with these pimples all over your face, that your fine boy will not be achieved. That your fine girl cannot be achieved with this with the pimples. So because of that, we explained the necessary strategies to overcome that pimples. All right, and also what the pimples is all about, right? Which we see can be caused by excessive oil in the body, all right, can be caused by bacteria, right, can be caused by even excessive sweat if you did not take your bath after excessive sweat. What it will do, we say that acne vulgaris is the clogging of the pores of the skin, of which we say that this skin you are seeing have some microscopic pores, right? Have some little holes in it that you cannot see with your eye, but microscope can see it that it have holes. That's where sweat come from. All right, if you can ask yourself, where do sweat come from? It comes from the skin, and it's through that pores that it comes out, and that is where water is absorbed sometimes into the body. So if you sweat a lot and you did not take your bath, that particular sweat on the process of reabsorbing it back into the body, it can clog the pores of the skin, which is to say it can block the pores of the skin, and even bacteria on the skin. If it become excess, you did not take your bath for some times, it can block the pores of your skin. And if you are someone that is taking too much of oily foods like granite and other this thing, it will lead to what the clogging of the pores of the skin. So, and when that happens, it can give you acne vulgaris. So, in the form of pimples or even the blackheads that you can see on your face, which may make you to start taking different things, or which will explain that when you want to deal with acne, you understand, you want to do with it, you can use something like comedogenic cleanser. All right, what that does is that it makes sure remove excessive oil on the face, and also if it's caused by bacteria, especially if the thing is persisting for a long period of time, you can actually use TCN or lincosamide for the treatment. I say I'm not going to call the full meaning so that you won't go and do self-medication. So in any way, you need to consult your healthcare provider for proper prescription on what you are going to do when it comes to treatment of acne, if you're having anything like acne. Now, today we say we want to discuss about atopic dermatitis, aka eczema. All right, that is this eczema that you hear about, eczema. All right, then another name of it, the main name of it is what? Atopic dermatitis. So when you hear dermatitis, you all know that word is talking about inflammation of the skin. Now, what is atopic dermatitis or eczema? This is a skin condition in which the skin barrier, or the barrier that's preventing all these allergies, all right, and irritations, helping to protect the skin from irritations and allergies, is no longer there, or the barrier is weakened. All right, before you know, it will develop like a form of patches on the body. All right, you begin to say, and what is the issue? Some of us will go as far as using an antifungal cream. Some will use an antibiotics typical ointment for it, but you haven't treated it. You can only use antibiotics if um during the course of the scratching, because it be itching you, scratching you, and forming patches and so on. You can move from here to the, but take note, it is not contagious. Right, it is not contagious. Eczema, not contagious, so please take note. Unless other skin issue, this particular one is caused by what? Allergic reaction and irritants on the skin, and is a result of the weakened skin barrier that have come. So many things can trigger it up. It can be a result of using of harsh soap, harsh cream, right, and even exposing yourself to some certain any harsh condition that can be against the skin, or even irritant or allergic reactions. All right, sometimes it can even be a result of um autoimmune. All right, when the immune system is overactive. All right, it brings about that particular inches, and before you know, you begin to scratch up and down. So it's whenever you scratch and the thing become infected, that's when that particular infection can be contagious. Right, once the infection develop a bacterial infection, then it will now become contagious. But initially, this atopic dermatitis is not a contagious disease. It's just a disease that you can be able to use anti-allergic medicine and handle, and that will be all. So um I said that was this atopic dermatitis, aka eczema, is something that whenever you are faced with it, and the sign that will make you to understand that this is atopic dermatitis, which is eczema, the skin will be looking very dried. All right, because when that skin barrier is reduced as a result of this irritant, even autoimmune disease and so on, what it will do is that the water retention level of the skin will no longer be there. The skin cannot be moistened again, so it will always look dry. It will have patches, all right, inching you, scratches, and so on. You feel very, very uncomfortable, right? So if all you are being confronted with all these symptoms I've mentioned, all right, you are having a skin patches, maybe around your face, around um your skin, anywhere around your skin, right? So, and you are feeling it in that way, you want to know what is happening, you can actually seek medical help for proper diagnosis and treatment. Probably it may not be atopic dermatitis, but if it's atopic dermatitis, you can still handle it. I'm just creating awareness on some certain skin conditions that you need to know about, right? Not for you to interchange it with this. Maybe something that is fungi, you treat bacteria. Something that is bacteria, you treat it with antiviral medicine. So you need to know specifically. So this atopic dermatitis, aka eczema, is not really a sort of fungi, it's not a sort of bacteria, it is not contagious, unless if it become infected during the course of scratches. You scratch it, and it will now open up, right? Through that opening, bacterial infection can actually come in. That is when it become infected, then it can be what? Contagious. All right. If not so, it is not contagious. And if you are having any issue like that, the best thing you can just do is to quickly use what we call anti-allergic medicines. All right. Like all these hydrocortisone, clobetasol, right? There's many of them that can be able to deal with allergic reactions, right? So you use it, before you know it is going to reduce the inches, all right, and make things to be easier, and it will heal as fast as possible. Many of them may not need any much oral medications or serious medicine. It's just for you to maintain personal cleanliness, take your bath as required, right? Go with lukewarm water instead of cool water or hot water. Go with lukewarm, right? You take your bath at least 5 to 10 minutes. Within 5 to 10 minutes is okay, all right? So if you are doing all these things using anti-allergic cream, topical cream, all right, is expected to handle this particular condition of atopic dermatitis, right? So it's not supposed to exceed within space of 1 week, it will be gone, right? But if you did not seek medical help and you continue scratching it, you continue um, inching it up and down, especially if you have your fingers that have grown already, all right? Or maybe you just use one material like that, you want to scratch it, it's sweating you and so on. What will happen is that it will lead to infection, and when it leads to infection, it becomes contagious. So once you notice anything of that form, you seek medical help, and once a healthcare professional confirm it that you are having atopic dermatitis, which is eczema, you quickly just go on anti-allergic creams. Go for anti-allergic creams at once. Go for anti-allergic cream at once, and when you use that anti-allergic cream, you discover that it's going to give way. Now let me still do a recap of the signs of this atopic dermatitis, or aka eczema. All right, I said that what if you are having it, you must have scaly, dry skin. All right, your skin will be dry, scaly, and inchy. Right, it will be scratching you and you feel like scratching it. All right, it will be dried because of what the skin barrier that is helping the skin to reabsorb water or to moisten that area will not be there. You understand? So it's a loss of what? Skin barrier as a result of different activity like use of harsh things on the skin, like high soap, fragrance, all right? All these soap that have a very serious fragrance, all those things irritate the skin and removes that barrier that is on the skin. All right, to remove that some specific proteins that are protecting the skin. Once it is removed, all right, a sort of all those harsh things, before you know it, the skin will become more or easily irritated. The skin will become very scaly, all right, very dried, and any little thing, allergic reaction will come in and will begin to itch up and down. And before you know, you begin to form patches on the skin. If you form here, it will go and form in the other side, but take note, it is not contagious. All right, it's still within you. And because someone, what you are allergic to, so and another person may not be allergic to the same thing, so that's why it will not be contagious, unless if it become infected during the course of that scratch. You open it up with your fingers, and through that opening, bacteria infection have to find its way in, and before you know it, it will now become what? Contagious. So that is what happens when it comes to atopic dermatitis. And if um you have scratch and did not develop this bacterial infection, so this to tell you that the time frame, all right, when it started, and when you start the treatment matters a lot. So if it have reached some certain period, that maybe within the period you have been scratching, of course you may need a topical antibiotics, right? In that case, maybe you will use triple action cream, all right, that have an antibiotics and anti-allergic reactions, all right, even anti-inflammations in it. So all those things will be needed, all right. It will help you to regain your health and make you to look good. That your fine boy and fine girl you are looking for, you can be able to get it if you do the right thing. So this particular eczema can happen to anyone. It can happen to even infant, babies, can happen to children, can happen to teenagers, can happen to young adults and adults. So all these people, anybody within this range can develop this eczema, and sometimes even heat can cause this particular eczema, right? Heat can cause it. So when the skin is irritated, all right, before you know, it will destroy the skin barrier, the protein that is protecting the skin, and before you know it, it will give way for further damage. So that's what happened. And you say it shows what? With patches, scaly, dried skin. You understand? A skin that is easily irritated, and as you are going to see the patches on the skin looking somehow reddish. All right, you'll be seeing it on your skin. Please remember, it's still slightly different from what we call urticaria, which is hives. All right, urticaria or hives is still different from that of urticaria or hives. That one, when we come there, I'm going to mention it and explain to you how that particular one happens. In this particular one of this eczema, it doesn't have um, um, a fluid-filled swelling, all right, or maybe bumps or rashes. You understand? So what it does is the morph is flat and scaly, all right, looking dried. All right, that's what happens. Instead of maybe filling with fluid or anything, all right, it will look very, very dried. You are going to see it on your skin and the patches. You are going to see it. So it's still different from other. Just remember, I mentioned a lot of skin condition. I talked about that of psoriasis, vitiligo, urticaria or hives. We have even that of that's even cancer of the skin, right? Even a fungal infection or tinea, right? There's many of them, right, that we have not mentioned. Yesterday we discussed about that of acne vulgaris. Today we have discussed about atopic dermatitis or eczema. All right, so that's what we discussed today, and see you guys tomorrow for next video. We are just taking our time to see how we can be able to make some certain discussions on the one within our limit when we upgrade our teaching aid, or we're able to get the teaching aids that we need. All right, we make this teach. If we explain it, it will be clear. All right, in fact, even the me that will be explaining to you, I'll feel more comfortable, and you that is listening and absorbing the things I'm saying, you feel more comfortable and happy. So we are still making efforts to see how we can get there. So what we discussed today is what atopic dermatitis, aka eczema. If you have any question about eczema, you can put it in the comment section. Remember, I said eczema is not a contagious disease unless if it's become infected during the course of that scratches. It become infected, that's when it become contagious. If not, it's not contagious. It just happen as a result of breakdown of skin barriers, some specific proteins on the skin that are protecting your skin from allergic reaction, irritations. All right, it will, once it break down as a result of using harsh substances, fragrance, all this harsh soap, all right, as a result of heat and other thing that will destroy that particular protein. Once the thing go down, that barrier goes down, the skin will be open to anything. All right, irritation, allergic reaction, many things can come in, and it will reduce that moisturizing characteristics of the skin. All right, it cannot be able to hold moisture, so leaving the skin dried and scaly, all right, and very itchy. All right, before you scratch, and it will now form a bacteria infection, can even come, and it will become contagious. So take note, once you are having any skin condition you don't understand, seek medical help. If they tell you is a result of eczema or atopic dermatitis, the healthcare provider will recommend what we need to use immediately, all right, to avoid further damage to your skin. All right, there's people that didn't get this on time, that it have led to discoloration of their skin for life. So you need to seek medical help once you have any challenge about your health. Thank you, and see you guys tomorrow by 10 a.m. on this particular live streaming. We have a lot to discuss, guys. Thank you.